All right. All right, now I'm going to turn off the air conditioning, which means it's going to get really hot. But I want to thank all of you for coming, for braving the traffic and the heat. You're coming from a long way away, I know. And, let me turn this off. These are all the things you have to do. Okay, so before I actually start playing, I'm going to invite everybody to silence their cell phones. I was giving a concert here a few weeks ago, this same program, and I was using my phone to videotape the concert. And somebody called, and my phone was silenced, but my Mac was also videotaping the concert. And the phone is attached to the Mac, so it rang through the Mac. And so I had to stop and go back to the beginning of that piece. It was Howie Collins calling about bridge, by the way. Okay. So, again, thank you all for coming. We'll have a program. So, this is a gift from one of my students. Some of you know I'm a big Godzilla fan, so now I'm going to have Godzilla with me for all my performances. And I'm going to be videotaping this here on my Google Chromebook from school, which is attached to these lovely microphones here. And this is my program of mostly obscure music. Even if you are a fan of classical music, you likely are unfamiliar with most of this music. And how did that happen? Well, years ago, my friend Lucas and I, we were having dinner at his house, and he's not really a fan of classical music, but he knows that I am. And so he had the classical music station on in the background on his TV, and I heard this piece, and I was like, oh, what is that? And I didn't recognize the piece at all. And so I went over and I figured out what it is, and it was this piece called The Impromptu by Alden Carpenter, who I had never heard of. And he's an American composer. And so I learned that piece and I performed it later that year. And I always wanted to play more music by him. And I looked for some music, and it's really hard to find music by these obscure composers because nobody plays it. So about a year ago, I discovered this piece, The Diversions. And I've been obsessed with it. And Alden Carpenter is actually best known for writing the first piece of music to use the word jazz in the title. He was writing in the 1920s, and during that time, jazz was a genre, and it was popular music, but nobody called anything jazz until he called one of his pieces jazz. So, and like me, he went to college, but he did not make his living as a professional musician. He worked for his family's shipping company, and he played piano and composed on the side. And so I'm going to play this piece, and I'm going to ask that you hold your applause till the very end of the fifth movement. I hope you like this piece. It's 5 very contrasting movements. And here we go with the Diversions by Alden Carpenter. The next piece I'm going to play, hold on.